Well, hello friends, Coach Bob with you today, and today, man, are we going to have a great conversation talking about some motorcycle racing and what it can do for you, and man, can it do stuff for you. I'm just going to tell you, it was an amazing experience when I went to Barber Motorsports Museum and watched a MotoAmerica race. And as with everything, there are lessons to be learned. You would think that as I get older, I would quit learning lessons, but it seems like everywhere I turn, there's more to know. It's awesome. It's spectacular. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that, man. Man, I love it. I love riding out in the countryside here. It's just awesome. All right. Well, before we get going on that, do me a favor. Give the video a big old fat thumbs up. I mean, a big old fat gravy-laden, high cholesterol thumbs up. I wanted to look like your dadgum hands are swelling up from eating a big old jar of dill pickles. Then leave a comment again, and there you have it. Go ahead, go. Thanks. Last thing I wanted to pull out there and that sheriff run over me. That'd be bad, wouldn't it? All right, so MotoAmerica. What is MotoAmerica? Well, I'll tell you one thing it is. Haha, you could dig this. It is the logo right there on this shirt. Hopefully you can see it. I can't look down and tell. But MotoAmerica, it is a level of racing that is far above any riding that I could do, and quite honestly, above what you can do too, even though you may not want to admit it, unless you are Marc Marquez. Above MotoAmerica would be World Superbike, and above that would be MotoGP. But MotoAmerica is, I'm not going to say it's grassroots. It's not really grassroots. These are professionals. They have some great things. They have what they call the Talent Cup, which is young people, and 350cc, I believe. No more than, say, 30, 40 horsepower. Really cool. They had a kid 14 years old racing in the Talent Cup, and then they have, after the Talent Cup, they have the Twin Cup. And Twin is the way they break it up. It's got to be twin cylinders. It has to be a certain weight, a certain horsepower. And then they have Super Sport. Super Sport has cc differences based on whether it's a twin, a triple, or a four-cylinder. And then they have Superbike. All right, so the racing is absolutely fun. It's great to watch. MotoAmerica also does the King of the Baggers race that you're hearing so much about now. Although the King of the Baggers weren't racing on the Barber track. The Barber track, I think it's 16 turns in less than 3 miles. It's a small track, and it's up and down hills. Very technical. Probably would not suit the big bikes well. But anyway, the Barber track is beautiful, and the way things are set up there, we're going to talk about all that. That way, if you ever get an opportunity to go, you won't be ignorant like I was when I went up there. All right, so the first thing I noticed when I got to Barber is how organized everything was. They have trams. You have 4 or 5 tram stops. You go in, you park in certain parking lots, and you can ask. Everybody there is very helpful. Go to parking lot C, and they'll point you in that direction. And what happens is you park, and then you walk to where you want to sit. If you're unhappy with that, then you grab a tram, you go to another spot. A tram is basically a pickup truck with these little trailers they're pulling behind them. So we're on the tram. It's going to run us around the track, and everything's super well put together. I mean, I'm learning the lay of the land, and everybody's been real kind, helpful. It's a good deal. People showing up, brother. There's 4 or 5 of them, so you're never sitting there waiting more than 2 minutes to grab a tram. It's awesome. They have the motorcycle paddock. That's where basically what you would say kind of a pit area where the teams are and all that stuff. You can go in those areas as well. You get to walk around. It's quite magnificent. Then you have the fan zone, which is where you have the MotoAmerica booth where they sell, cool things like this shirt, hats, that sort of stuff. And then they have all the food vendors and everything there. And then they also have a section where they have vendors, local vendors, and people who just travel in selling old motorcycle parts, like a swap meet. All right, so now we have continued around. We are away from the vendors, and now we're at the swap meet. They have a swap meet going on during all of the races, so check it out. And then in the middle of all this is the motorcycle track. And there is not a bad seat in the house. What did it cost for me to spend all day there on a Saturday? $65. Friday, which was a half day, was $35. And in a world where everything's $100 now, I was like, man, this is a good deal. It's a real good deal. So getting around is super easy. All of the accoutrements associated with it are magnificent. There's not a bad spot to sit. There are some that are better than others. We sat at the area around turn 1, 2, and 3, and it was wonderful. It was wonderful. You can buy, for this particular race, you could buy a VIP pass where you sit in an air-conditioned room and you're brought meals and alcohol for $325 for the whole day. It's like, that's a pretty good deal, man. Super amazing. And you're on top of the world. You're at the starting grid, and you could see 80% of the track from up there. Really, really amazing. May do that next year if Coach Vic decides to go. That way, if there's inclement weather, she's protected from it. She's delicate, you know. That was the first thing I noticed, was total organization, and it was very simple. When you go there, everyone's helpful. So if you go to Barber, you can take all of the anxiety that you have about not knowing what to do, you can throw that out the window. All right, the next thing that I noticed was fit people. You know, I'm not going to say that people in America aren't fit, but most people in America aren't that fit. You know, I was always told, you know, you want to know what you are, look at your top 5 friends, and that's probably a good picture of you. And most of my friends are somewhat athletic. They're people who go to the gym and take care of themselves, and they love their family. And so that's really what I look like. I'm that. I'm not putting you down if you're not fit. I don't want you to think that, because I'm not. But what I am telling you is that people that race motorcycles are athletes, and people that are into motorcycle racing by and large are athletic. So there are a lot of beautiful people, beautiful athletic people walking around. A lot of mothers and dads ranging from the age of 20 to the age of 40, and 90% of them are quite athletic looking. Their behavior was super impressive. Very high trust society at the racetrack. You could set up your lounge chairs. Oh, look at that. Get out of the way, Mr. Turtle. That was a big old turtle right there. I would stop, but I don't want to get run over. He'll be out of the road in a minute. People are used to that around here. He was pretty big anyway. If he bit me, he'd snap my finger right off. But it was amazing to me, though, to see the athleticism with these people. And the reason I bring that up, if you're wanting to get fit, this is an opportunity for you to go be around people who are fit and to talk with them and learn from their experiences. And that's without you having to pay for anything or get help with anything. The encouragement of others many times can be that spark, that motivation, that fire that you need. So really cool. Be around athletes. If you want to be athletic, step 1 is be around athletes. Start small. You know, I will tell you, if you want to be a runner, buy a pair of running shoes. Get up every morning, put your running shoes on, stand on the porch, take them off, and then go right back inside. I know that sounds crazy, but you're building a rhythm of preparing to run. And then you can say, okay, I'm going to jog to the mailbox and back every day. Do that. You don't think small. I always tell people, think small. Less is more. The best exercise is the one you'll do. You'll get there. Give yourself time. Be patient. But if you want to be more athletic, be around athletic people. You'll see their habits, and you will just naturally develop in that. So it was very encouraging, very inspiring to me. All right. This next one is the biggest one that motorcycle racing does, and I never saw this coming. It builds families. I know you're saying, Coach, motorcycle racing doesn't build families. That's the most stupid thing I've ever heard. I want you to go back in time. With me, it was football. I came from a small community, and football was the center of the universe in that community. It was Valdosta, Georgia. And as a boy, we would go to football games, and we would play. We wouldn't watch the game. We would go under the bleachers, and we'd take a little milk carton. Remember the little milk cartons? You buy some milk, and you'd crush the milk carton, and that milk carton became a football. And all the kids were under the bleachers playing football. And that's what we would do. We would go home, we would be exhausted and covered in dirt. And it was great. We loved it. It was so much fun. And my parents would know. They'd grab a kid walking by, go, hey, run down there under the bleachers, tell Bobby to come on up here. And that's what would happen. Hey, Bobby so-and-so, are you here? Yeah. Your parents want you to go up, they're getting ready to go. Okay. And that's how it was. Well, I had forgotten that. You don't see that anymore. You know, you're afraid your kids are going to get nabbed. You're afraid they can't play anymore. It's not safe. Well, motorcycle racing is completely different. You know, you're in an open area. Let me say. Well, motorcycle racing is completely different. You're out in this open area, this field, right? And it's grass and it's manicured. It looks like a golf course. Except it's a hill. Well, you know what kids are going to do on hills. Well, they're going to run down the hill, and then their legs are going to go too fast. They're going to fall down and face plant. You see that. They're going to lay down on their side, and they're going to barrel roll down the hill. You see that. They're going to put on their dadgum tennis shoes, or they're going to go barefooted, and they're going to run up and down that hill all day long. And you're going to see families, real families, who cling together. Mothers and fathers who are fit and attentive to details with their children, playing with their children. And you're going to see kids that don't know each other going over there and saying, hey, do you want to play? And they're out there throwing a little tennis ball. And yes, throwing a cup. I actually saw kids throwing plastic cups that they had crushed and put tape around. It was like stepping back in time. It was high trust. You set your chairs up, you walked around, nobody stole your stuff. Kids were playing, they were playing together. I'm going to tell you that in this 16-hour day of us being there, I did not hear one profane word. I did not see one person be rude to another, not one single time. Now, I'm not going to tell you that's going to be your experience, but it was certainly mine, and it was absolutely magnificent. You know, MotoAmerica, making families great. Wow. That's, you know, that should be their commercial, because that's what they're doing. They're building this country through making it family friendly. They're building this country through treating people with a high level of respect and dignity, through having a decorum about their events. It was really quite magnificent, and one that you need to go to. You know, what I am going to do, I told Vic, next year when I go, I will take my 3 grandchildren, and they will have the time of their life. And every year thereafter, as long as I have the physical prowess to take them, I want to take them. I want them to have the memories of their papa taking them to a motorcycle race, and them seeing things and experiencing things that make fun, safe wholesome, healthy memories that will last them a lifetime. Just like my milk carton stories under the bleachers, I want them to have stories just like that. So MotoAmerica, man, just absolutely blew me away. The track at Barber, just 5-star beautiful. The grass maintained, the people nice, the organization out of this world, and the families, well, they were nothing more than beautiful and exemplary. The things that I aspire for my children to be, that's how I want my kids raising my grandchildren. And it is really, it put hope in my heart. It was just wonderful to see. I loved it, loved every bit of it. My friend, he's not a motorcycle guy. So we got there and he was knocked out. We went to the museum one day. He loved that. That was on Friday. And then the next morning, we were up early and watching motorcycle racing. And they rode all day long. Throughout this video, I shared some film and pictures of things, and it was really a beautiful experience. One of the things that I talked with my friend, because he was like, man, these guys fall at a high rate of speed. How do they not get hurt? I had a good friend of mine. He told me, he goes, as a motorcycle racer, you got to be strong and tough as a junkyard dog and limber as a cat. And that's it, man. And that's what these guys are. And they are super athletic. They work very, very hard at strength training, being lean, being limber, knowing how to fall. We saw 2 low sides. A low side is where the motorcycle slides on its side. We saw 2 low sides on turn 1 and turn 2, actually as you were entering turn 2. And they slid across the track and hit the gravel trap and threw rocks flying everywhere. It was just unbelievable. And these guys got right up, dusted them off, and jumped back on the bike, or if the bike wouldn't crank, they put it on a trailer and they were fine. So motorcycle racing is something that, yes, you can get hurt, but most of the falls are not serious injuries, and most of the falls are simple falls that kids, it's good for them to see that athletes can experience things and not get hurt every time they do it. To hear athletes not use profanity when they're talking over a microphone, to hear them speak well of their competitor, to see the camaraderie of the racers, for the racers to do their lap after the race and they're all waving to you and you're waving back, to see the kids run up to the fence line and wave to the racers as they go by was really a beautiful and sweet thing. All right, so MotoAmerica, Coach Bob salutes you. You're the best. My friends and subscribers and new folks watching, make sure you support this channel, support MotoAmerica. I would greatly appreciate it. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I don't want you to miss any beautiful, engaging content that can inspire you to do things and to be more than you ever thought you could be. All right. Well, look at this beautiful canopy of trees, and I think I'm going to ride in here for a while. So I want you to do me a favor until next time. Yes, you go out by the motorcycle of your dreams. Eat right, take care of yourself, and remember, if you're not having fun, you are most definitely doing it wrong. Now you go seize the day, and I will see you on the road real soon.